Good morning. It is August 15th, and I have been in the role of executive director now for 2 years. And 2 years has gone by very quickly. Our goals have grown, our audience has grown, and I am coming on here really with some notes that I want to share. Hopefully, you can listen to this till the end, but if you cannot, that is a okay. Hopefully, we'll be able to shorten this because if you know me, have ever supported me in anything, you know that I do talk a little much. So let us move on. The first thing is we have changed our name to Life Atlas Foundation. Our former name was the Dream Queen Foundation. And the reason behind this primarily is to make sure we are inclusive to all teens and leaders in our community, she, her, they, them, non binary, etc. Um, when we're working with teens, we need to make sure that we are using the language that is comfortable for them and that we have images and logos, etc., that are going to be attractive to them. I'm still a dream queen. We are all dream queens. And we will stand by being dream queens, especially the adult group. Um, but in this time of recovering from so much isolation and with so much happening, and the conversation being around mental health and mental wellness, we felt it was really important to get ahead of this and to do our part. So I want to go over our mission first. And the mission of the Life Atlas Foundation is to offer career and leadership development training in a safe space where everyone can come together to align their careers with passion and purpose, embrace authenticity and transparency in positions of power and influence, and replace greed and corruption with heart centered leadership. This is a very different way of thinking. This is something that I think not when I think, when I talk to other leaders in the community, that they feel is necessary. And for us to start being people. And I know that sounds kind of off, but it seems as though, from everything that I've learned over the last couple of years, that we are living with our labels and our circumstances and not who we decide to be. I am not depression or anxiety. I have them. It's a disease. I choose who I get to be. I choose which emotions I'm going to have. I choose how I react to other people. And these are not skills that come easy. And these are things that we do within our clubs, within our women's groups, and really just as part of the community. It's something that is very important to us. Another topic that's come up recently is Alice and ACEs. So, if you are in the behavioral health field, you have heard those two acronyms a bunch of times. And so, ACEs are adverse childhood experiences. And there is a study that was done where they talk about when kids or youth have a certain number of these experiences, then their likelihood as a group goes up that they will begin to have different types of reactions or make different types of decisions. We could be talking about drug use, or really that defiant kind of attitude. There's much like alcoholism is in there, and there's just a plethora of information that says that not only without intervention, when you get to three ACEs, you are more likely to do all of these things. But the other side of that is what has made a difference in the lives of the people who have experienced more than three was that somebody cared. And I want you just to kind of think about that for a minute. Somebody cared. It could have been a parent, a teacher. It could have been somebody who said, "You're smarter than this and you can do better this, and how can I help you?" It could have been a one off. But the fact is that somebody cared enough to tell them. And we need to care enough to tell them. And we need to start seeing them as people, start stripping away these labels, and start learning how to teach each other to stand on our own 2 feet and create our own accountability, our own confidence, our own tools to battle bullying. And what we do within our Gals Lead and Compass clubs is exactly that. We train high school, college, and adults to be able to mentor these youth in these programs in order for them to facilitate conversations among the youth. We are not teaching, we are mentoring, and we are facilitating conversation. And the difference there and what makes these groups powerful is they become mentors for each other. They move forward together. They create their own safe space, and then they bring more kids into that space. We cannot create this alone. We need to be a community. We need to be a village. There's a term, it takes a village, that has been in our vocabulary forever, but we're not doing it. We are thinking that we can do everything on our own as adults with our own family, and we have become a my and me community instead of an us and we community. And that includes the teens that may not even have ACEs. It includes everybody wanting to get this information into their children and into themselves to learn to change their own perception of the world that we're living in and to be more aware of how we're reacting to our circumstances that many times we don't have any control over. Which brings me to the next study, which is called ALICE. And now that I'm talking to you live, I'm not going to be able to tell you the acronym. But it's adults living, income constrained, employed. Okay, so I can't remember income constrained, employed. I think they're just missing a middle word. Anywho, this study looks at people who are above the poverty line, but they are below income to be able to support their family other than on a paycheck to paycheck basis. Now we know inflation just started going up excessively. I think the number is between, depending on who you talk to, 7 and 8%, maybe 6. Average inflation over time was around 2.5%. So we made a big jump. What does that mean to us? More families are in ALICE. More families' incomes are constrained. More families are not sure that they're going to be able to pay their mortgage. More families are in crisis mode. More families need our village. They need our community. They need us to walk with them and help them. And it's not their fault. And it's not the kids' fault. But it is a commitment that we as a community need to make. I'm obviously very passionate about this. Before I came onto the foundation working with Dream Queen, I was a volunteer. I facilitated a club. I was on the board, and I had a women's group. And that women's group was a lifeline. It was a space that I could go to express myself and not feel judged. It is a place where you can be positive and passionate and purposeful, but you can also be authentic. And sometimes you get to cry, and sometimes we need to cry. After everything with COVID, after all of this inflation, we have kids that now have one ACE from COVID, very traumatic experience, very adverse childhood experience. We have families who are going into a time where they have never had to live paycheck to paycheck and they are struggling and they need us. And somehow the services that are out there are not connecting. And you know why they're not connecting? Is because we are putting labels on the services when these services are for all of us in the community, no matter where we land in any of the studies. We need to understand each other and understand that we are more similar than we are different if we're going to get through this. We need to encourage mental wellness. We don't need to fix mental health. We need to give each other the tools to be able to express ourselves in a safe space so that we can move forward with grace and ease through our lives. We are the stepping stones. We are the village. We are creating maps, and there are going to be obstacles and there are going to be roadblocks, and we need to stick together. And we're not doing that. One of the things I've learned recently is different, uh, I guess they are rules of the universe, let's say. And there are things that are within different religions, they're within different um, ways of creating and manifesting, and they pop up in all different avenues of growth. And I really want to just kind of sit in this for a second and talk about what I'm talking about, and it's tithing. Whether it's time, talent, or treasure, whichever one of those things you give, you will receive tenfold. I am currently running this organization at a income that is not, I guess I'm Alice, I don't know, but I don't care, and I'm still gonna tithe because I know where my money is going, and I'm putting that percentage, that 10% gross before taxes, back into this organization because it's that important to me. Now, I've given my time, and I still will continue to give my time. So if I'm scheduled a 40-hour work week, I will probably give an extra 10% of that time to the organization as a tithe of time, and then I get more time. And my talent. This is something that has been very hard for me to own, but I am now understanding that my voice, my talent, my facilitation, and my ability to have open conversations is something that I need to give freely to receive freely. And I don't just give it within the organization, I give it within my life. And guess what? It comes back to me tenfold. And I get to receive all of the support and all of the love and all of the continuation of everything we're doing. Christians tithe, many religions tithe. And I think that this is something that we really need to think about because I've been holding my treasure to my chest. So I've been able to recruit more talent and I've been able to recruit more time, but I haven't been able to recruit more treasure because I wasn't giving. And I want us to think about that as individuals and as business owners. We don't have to tithe 10% to our church. If that's the most important thing to you, then do it. If there is something important in your world, whether or not it's people with disabilities or it's mental health awareness and maintaining mental wellness, or if it's to our elderly population, because they sure do need it. They need your time, talent, and your treasure. And we need to start thinking in that 10% and understand that it's going to be uncomfortable. But know if you give with a pure heart, that it will come back to you. And we need to think about that more. If we're working 60 hours a week, we can give 6. If we're working 4, we can 40, we can give 4. And that 4 hours a week that we're giving to our community is going to change the lives of so many people. It's going to blow all of our minds. So I want to tell you one last thing. This is a 20-minute video. I promise it's going to be cut up, but I hope that you've watched it so far. I am pouring my heart today because I feel it's really important for you to see why these things are happening, and to hope and to plan and to do better for myself, for the community, for the nonprofit, and for all of you who have been so supportive over the last 2 years. What we are looking to create is a community of people who live authentically, give authentically, and are authentic. If you're having a bad day, you can learn to have a bad few moments and turn it around. So, our leader community, this space that is for leaders who want to be authentic, who want to give of themselves, who want to grow their business and make more money, and who want to be among other strong people in the community who see these bigger visions that we've been discussing for the last 15 minutes. Those are the people we want. We want to start drawing our own atlas. We want to create our own map. And maybe one day, the way that we think and the way that we give and our gratitudes and our desires and our celebrations come out. When we talk about our mentor training, it is a one-day course that I facilitate to help individuals become better mentors to those who are in our clubs or in their own clubs. So if we have adults mentoring college students and college students mentoring high school students and high school students mentoring middle school students, then we are now creating this map, this road where each of those kids have somewhere to go. The middle schoolers will then, when they get into high school, have a space where they can share and be in love and be encouraged and understand who they are uniquely and special. We are all very different, but our internal needs, what keeps us alive, what makes us live, are so similar. And the more we come together in this passionate place, in this place of giving, the more we're going to continue to support our youth and create adults that are integral and necessary in our community to move forward. So I'm asking you to think about some of the topics, whether it's tithing your time, treasure, or talent, whether it's making a commitment to your village and your community, to walk next to people who are in Alice, to consider supporting our youth who have been through it. I don't think I could deal with the social media and the going through COVID and everything that they're dealing with. I don't think I could have done it. I look back and I was troubled and I had drug issues and I didn't have half of this stuff pressuring me. And that's why it's time for all of us to become a village, for all of us to step forward, for all of us to give 10% of whatever it is we can give. And the more we see that we're giving that 10% of our time, talent, or treasure, that it keeps bouncing back to us, the more commitment we will make to giving it over and over and over again. Thank you so much for listening to the end. I have so much more I want to share with you, so many more things I want to do in our community, and I need you to help. I'm Mary Anna Lanham. My cell phone number, call me, 301-466-7324. You can find me at lifeatlas.org. You can find me on Meet with Mariana on Calendly. You can find me on social media, Mariana E. Lanham. There's just one on all of the social medias with this name. Find me, commit, support. Thank you.